So today we're continuing our investigation on waves. And so what I'm going to do is draw a wave, and you are going to be taking some notes from this, and then we'll be doing some activities as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a wave, and I'm just going to kind of draw it like this. Okay, so in your handy dandy nice science notebook, you're going to be drawing a wave. Okay, so we're going to describe the properties of a wave, and this is how we would describe it to somebody who, if they can't see it, we would be able to describe it to them. So notice how it has a repeating pattern of up and down, and they're almost all the same length, right? It has high points, which are called peaks, and it has low points, which are called troughs. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to label. We're going to write the word peak, P-E-A-K, and we're going to label that right here. Okay, so this right here is the peak, which we know, like on a mountain, it means the high point. Okay, there are three properties to waves, and we're going to talk about those properties right now. Okay, so first of all, there's amplitude, A-M-P-L-I-T-U-D-E, amplitude. Okay, the amplitude is how high a wave is from its center line to the top of its peak or the bottom line of the trough. It is the measurement from the top or the bottom of the wave to zero. The amplitude of a wave indicates the amount of energy in the wave. The greater the amplitude, the more energy. So we're going to put another label in here. So from here, this is the trough where the lowest point is, which is at this line right here, to the top. Okay, we're going to go ahead and label all of these. That's the low point, that's the high point, that's the low, oh, and of course I break my pencil. Low point, and that's the high point. Low point, and that's the high point. So this right here is the amplitude. So we're going to kind of put an arrow that shows us what the amplitude means. Okay, amplitude. Okay, so think about when we moved the rope up and down with when we were outside yesterday. Hopefully your waves were compared to the waves with less energy, because if it had more energy, it would be moving a lot faster, right? Okay, so I'm going to put, in our science book, they actually put these, that's okay, we're just going to do that. So amplitude, okay? So there's another one called wavelength, okay? So wavelength, and it's all one word. And that is the point from here to here. That's the length of the wave, from here to here, here to here. Okay? The wavelength is the distance from one peak to the next peak. We're going to write that down. The distance from one peak to the next. Okay, so that's the meaning of wavelength. One wavelength is one wave cycle. The wavelength is how long the wave is. And I'm going to put that like this. How long the wave is. Okay, so now we talked about wavelength. And then the last one that we need to know is frequency. And I know most of you already know what that word frequency means. And so we're going to just apply it to our waves here. So it says frequency is how many cycles a wave makes in a period of time, usually in 1 second. When the frequency is high, there are a lot of waves in the sound. When the frequency is low, there are only a few waves in the sound. Okay, so we're going to draw a different wave, and this time we're going to make it more like this. Okay, so it already looks different from that one, doesn't it? Okay, so the more waves there are, the higher the frequency it is. It means that high frequency, what was I reading? When the frequency is high, there are a lot of waves in the sound. When the frequency is low, there are only a few waves. So yesterday when we were listening to the tone generator, and you heard the high-pitched sound, this is what the wavelengths look like. But when you listen to the low one that vibrated a lot, this is what it looked like, okay? All right, so now we're gonna watch a video about this. I'm gonna put that next. So I'm gonna save this part here. These are your notes. This needs to go in your science notebook.